Imagine this for a moment. You were sitting at a cafe, maybe with a notebook open or your English app running on your phone, doing your best to practice speaking. You think of what you want to say, and suddenly your brain starts searching, one word at a time. You think of a subject, then a verb, then an object, and maybe a connector. And by the time you put it all together, the moment has passed and the conversation has moved on. It is slow, stressful, and exhausting. And the worst part is, you know the words. You just can't say them fast enough. If this has happened to you, you are not alone. Most English learners begin their speaking journey by thinking word by word. And while it is a natural starting point, it quickly becomes a major barrier to fluency. Today, we're going to explore a different way to speak, a more natural, faster, and more automatic system that native speakers use every single day. And when you understand this shift, speaking becomes easier, more connected, and a lot less mentally tiring. So welcome to this episode, and I want you to feel like we are having a conversation together, just you and me, maybe walking outside or sitting together in a classroom. Because today's topic can truly change the way you speak English forever. And if you stay with me until the end, I'm going to give you one practical challenge that you can start using today that will improve your speaking within a week. But before we go there, let's start with the truth that nobody tells beginners. Native speakers do not build sentences word by word. They don't think, I am going to the store. They think in ready-made pieces, what we call chunks. Small combinations of words that carry a single meaning and come out automatically. Expressions like, I'm going to, let me think, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, I've got to tell you, I'm not sure, I don't think so, and so many others are not created word by word in real time. They are already stored in the brain as complete units, ready to be used in conversation. And this is the biggest difference between someone who speaks slowly and someone who speaks fluently. Think about how you speak your native language. When someone asks you, how was your weekend? You don't stop and think grammar. You don't separately search for each word. You already have ready-made answers in your mind, like, it was great, not bad, pretty good, I relaxed at home, I didn't do much, I went out with friends. These are not individual vocabulary pieces. They are familiar phrases that come out instantly. Your brain is not building, it is retrieving. Fluency is not thinking fast, it's reducing how much thinking you need to do. And that is exactly where English learners get stuck. Because traditional learning teaches vocabulary lists, grammar charts, and memorized rules. But real-life communication demands fast, packaged language. And once you understand this, your entire learning strategy changes. Now let's explore why thinking word by word slows everything down. When you build sentences word by word, your brain has too many jobs at the same time. Select vocabulary, choose correct grammar, arrange the sentence structure, adjust pronunciation, think of the message you want to express, all under the pressure of a real conversation. That is a lot of multitasking. No wonder learners freeze or speak slowly. But when you speak in chunks, the mental load drops dramatically. Instead of deciding on every word, you just choose the correct phrase package. Instead of, how do I say this, your brain goes, oh, I know a phrase that expresses this idea. For example, imagine someone tells you something surprising. If you think word by word, you might try to create, I did not expect that to happen. But if you think in chunks, you already have automatic reactions like, no way, seriously? You're kidding, or I didn't see that coming. Short, natural, fast, human. Let's go even deeper. When you learn English word by word, you end up knowing vocabulary that you cannot use easily. You recognize words when reading, but freeze when speaking. But when you learn chunks, you learn how those words behave inside real language. For example, the word idea is just a word. But real communication happens in combinations like, that's a great idea. I have no idea. Whose idea was it? just an idea. In theory, it's a good idea, but instead of learning a word, you learn how it lives in everyday sentences. And the brain loves this. It is easier to remember something in context than in isolation. A single word is a loose balloon floating in the sky. A chunk is tied down. It has meaning, purpose, and real usage. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, okay, but how do I start thinking in chunks? Don't worry, we're going to explore that together. The first step is to notice the chunks native speakers use. The next time you watch a movie, a series, a YouTube video, or even this channel, don't just focus on vocabulary. Focus on the expressions that repeat. Notice what natives say again and again, because these are the building blocks of real communication. When you hear phrases like, "Let me ask you something," "What's going on?" "I can't believe it," "Hold on a second," or "I'm not sure about that," write them down. These are not advanced expressions. They are simply the language natives actually use. The second step is to practice repeating these chunks aloud until they feel automatic. Yes, your mouth needs training just like your brain. Athletes practice movements. Musicians practice their instruments. Speakers practice speaking. Repetition builds speed and comfort. Shadowing is an excellent technique for this. Play a video, podcast, or audio clip, pause after one line, and repeat the sentence with the same rhythm and tone. This trains you to produce language the same way natives do, smooth, connected, and emotional. Don't worry if you cannot match perfectly in the beginning. Improvement comes from doing, not from perfection. The third step is to start building your speaking around chunks instead of individual words. When someone asks you a question, try to answer using ready-made expressions. For example, instead of trying to build an answer like, "I think I prefer coffee," you can simply say, "I'd rather have coffee," or "I'm more of a coffee person," or "Coffee works for me." When someone invites you somewhere and you can't go, instead of constructing a sentence word by word, you can use expressions like, "I don't think I can make it," "Maybe another time," "I'm not sure I'll be free," or "I've got something going on." These phrases are not only faster, they sound natural and confident, the way natives speak. And you might be wondering, but do I still need grammar? Absolutely. Grammar is still the foundation. But when you learn grammar through real chunks, it becomes intuitive. You stop translating in your head. You stop thinking deeply before speaking. You learn to trust your instinct the same way you do in your native language. And when that happens, confidence grows naturally, because confidence comes from familiarity. When the language feels natural, you no longer fear speaking. You become part of the conversation. Now I want to talk directly to you. If you feel like your English disappears when you open your mouth, if you feel like you speak slower than you think, if you feel like you understand much more than you can express, there is nothing wrong with you. You are not bad at languages. You are just using a method that is too heavy, too slow, and too mentally demanding. Word-by-word speaking was never how real fluency develops. Children don't learn like that. Native speakers don't speak like that. And you don't have to either. So here is your challenge, your small, simple assignment that can create big results. For the next 7 days, choose just 5 chunks per day. 5 expressions that native speakers actually use. Write them down, say them out loud 3 times, and then try to use at least one of them in a conversation, online, in real life, or even speaking to yourself. If you do this in just 1 week, you'll feel a difference in your fluency. You will feel your brain relaxing. You will feel your sentences flowing more naturally. Your mouth will start remembering faster than your grammar. This is the moment when language starts to feel like a friend instead of a task. And as we close this episode, I want to leave you with one final message. Fluency is not about speed, it is about ease. It is not about speaking perfectly, it is about speaking naturally. It is not about memorizing more, it is about using smarter. You can speak English automatically. You can speak confidently. You can become the fluent version of yourself you dream about. But you have to change the way you train. Don't build the language brick by brick. Learn the patterns, the rhythm, the expressions, the flow. Learn chunks and English becomes lighter. Learn chunks and the language becomes faster. Learn chunks and fluency stops being something you chase and becomes something you experience. If you want more episodes like this, more training, more practical guidance, more real English that you can use today, make sure to follow the channel, subscribe, and comment your biggest challenge in speaking English. I'm here to help you grow. Now go out there, practice your chunks, and watch your English transform. You're closer than you think.